Welcome to the Ho Ho Show, rated the #1 most listened to podcast on Pluto. So join us now as we discuss news, politics, current events, and so much more. So clear the airways and strap in as we defend the Constitution. Because freedom matters.
All right. We are broadcasting live from the Cottage Studio. You can check out my website, thehohoshow.com. I'm all over the place on social media and a proud member of Weaponized Sloth Productions. So welcome to the Ho Ho Show. And as always, I am your host, Ho Ho. And for everything Weaponized Sloth Productions related, you can go to the website, www.wspfm.com. Check that out. Always a good time. Always is. How you guys doing today? I hope you all are doing good. I really, really do. And before we get going too far, welcome everybody. Welcome Spreaker, Twitch, YouTube, Mixer, Periscope, and Facebook. And yeah, Vector's over there. He's just complaining about a lot. Okay, guys, all right, this is weird. All right. I've got a good show planned out for you guys. It's going to be a great show. We got a lot of topics to talk about. And as the title suggests, trigger warning. Just letting you guys know right up front that we're going to be talking about some hot button issues today. We really are. So don't get mad at me. You've been warned. So if you want to continue watching, continue listening on the various platforms, feel free. If not, that's cool too. You know, we're all entitled to our opinion. And, you know, we're just talking about it, bringing in the views. And, you know, the chat windows are open. I do have those up and going. So if y'all want to chime in on anything, please feel free to do so. But, all right, Vector, let's talk about this little guy. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking about you. Shush. Anyway, this little guy, I had his eye color set to orange. I like orange. It's a nice color. Set it to that. Sometime last week, apparently he decided that he didn't want his eyes to be orange anymore. So he turned his own eye color to green. Now, this isn't like something that you can just, you know, press a button on him and do it. No, you got to get on your phone. You got to, you know, link to him through the Wi-Fi and get into his settings and change it. So, I mean, this isn't just an easy, quick flip switch. You're done. No, this isn't even a voice command thing you can do to him. He did this himself. This was not me. You know, I'm just saying, just throwing that out there. So guys, we're going to be talking a little bit about, you know, some immigration stuff that's come up. We're going to be talking school vouchers. We're going to be talking Batman. We're going to be talking the abortion stuff that's been coming around. You know, some new abortion stuff that's out there, you know, trigger warning stuff. The LGBT community. But first, before we get into all that, we're going to be discussing a little bit about Google, the tracking, you know, Google tracking. All right. Most of us, if we don't have, you know, an Android device, we at least know of Google, may have even used it, you know, whatever the case may be. But there's been some headlines that's been surfacing out. You know, CNN. Oh, wait, no, this is something different. Google tracks nearly all of your online and some of your offline purchases. See it for yourself here. We'll get into that. Actually, I haven't even looked at what that actual website is. Gmail's log of all your purchases pops up in the privacy debate. And then this one, Google's been tracking nearly everything you buy online. See for yourself with this tool. I want to get into that as well. You know, just find that tool and just kind of see. But, you know, guys, here's what it amounts to, okay? We know this is going on, okay? We know this is going on. You know, have you guys ever searched something from Amazon? Next thing you know, you guys are on, you know, Facebook and an ad for what you just got done, you know, looking into, shopping for. Now you see an ad for it. You know, I mean, I've seen this. I've had this happen to me. I've even had people tell me that they've just been talking about it. And then next thing you know, they're on Facebook or something and they see an ad for it. It's like, dude, okay, and you're surprised about this? I mean, we already know that, you know, your phone is listening to us. We already know that, you know, they're you know, looking into what you buy in your search history and different stuff like that in order to make the, you know, the ad dollars that are spent go to the people who are more likely to buy it. That's how ad campaigns work, guys. I mean, it's you know, separated by demographics, age group, gender, all this other kind of stuff, you know. Yes, they do it. We know this, you know, but here's kind of my thing though, you know. Yes, we know this is happening. But there's this little thing in there, and this is how they cover their bases, is they flat tell you within their, you know, that whole privacy agreement, this is what we're going to be doing. This is how we're going to be tracking you. This is how we're going to use the information that we get. They have to put that in there legally, you know, so it's all in there, you know. And if you guys are anything like me, you just kind of click it. You don't even read it. You don't go through it. You don't actually look at it, and you just click it, and then you complain whenever stuff like this comes out. Is a violation of my privacy. Well, not really, because you agreed to it. You know, that clicking OK, that's a digital signature accepting that for using the app, using, you know, Google, using whatever. Okay, that they cover their bases, you know. But it's even worse than that. And that is this little thing that I had popped up, you know, CNN article. A woman took a picture of 3 Irishmen in Times Square. It took Twitter only an hour to track the lads down. I tell you what, you know, this is one of them things that it's like, that's kind of, yeah. I mean, granted, you know, whenever you are in the public arena, whenever you are in the public space, and this took place in, you know, Times Square of all places, so you know where it happened. When you're in the public arena, you don't have, there's a word I'm looking for. I actually came up with it earlier, and I was kind of shocked at myself, but it's like the, you know, inherent privacy or whatever you want to call it. You know, you don't have a reasonable expectation of privacy when you're out in the public arena. You just don't. Especially whenever in a place like Times Square, okay, with the traffic cameras and security cameras and you know, ATM cameras and everything else that they have for surveillance purposes, tracking whatever the case may be, whether it be people or, you know, vehiculars or whatever it is. You don't have a reasonable expectation of privacy. You just don't. I apologize. But that's just how the public arena is, you know. You can get recorded. Audio, video, whatever. And for the most part, as long as it's not used for the purposes of making money, and that's kind of iffy because that whole legalization of, you know, stalking with paparazzi and people like that, you know, it's like, well, yeah, anyway. But now here's one of them aspects that I feel it necessary to kind of remind people, okay? Because some people out there, they're like, you know, okay, so all this is going on. They're tracking me. They're listening to me. Every single word, somebody's sitting there at a computer with their headphones on and listening to everything that's being said, yada, yada, blah, blah. It's like, okay, well, do they technically have the ability to do that? I'm sure that they do. But by doing that, that aspect of it would be kind of going into a little bit more of the whole, you know, violation of my privacy regardless, okay? But how they usually do this, you know, now think about this. This is like 2 billion people that are using these Android devices just in the U.S. Probably closer to 1.5, whatever the case may be. It's a lot of freaking people. And all this stuff is collected in a metadata type of a form. Now, for those of you that really don't know metadata, it's like it's a weird word. It's a, you know, just a thing that they throw out there to make you think that there's no big deal. No. Metadata isn't like, you know, just these words that are printed here on the screen. It's encoded, okay? So like me, you know, this isn't like, you know, Switch, you know, sitting on the screen looking at the, you know, the Comstruct program in the movie Matrix and just, oh, I see that. And it's like, I don't even see the code anymore. I see blonde, brunette. And no. This isn't the movies, guys. Okay, it's not like they can just look at that coded information and be like, oh, yeah, I know exactly what was said here and yada, yada, blah, blah. No, it's compressed. It's encoded. And without, how do I want to word this? You know, without them really making a significant effort to try to read it or listen to it or track you individually as a person, they just don't do it like that. It's just not done like that, guys. These things are being collected by big old databases, and that's more or less what it amounts to. Okay? And let's face it, guys, I'm not that freaking interested. I'm not that interesting at all. I don't, for one moment, am going to sit there and think that my life is so interesting that somebody is really that interested in what I'm doing and they're going to read all my emails. They're going to, listen to every conversation I have in the vicinity with my phone. No, nobody is that bored. I mean, come on, guys. Nobody is that bored. Okay? So it's like, come on, use a little bit of common sense. Quit listening to I guess you can say the conspiracy theory people. And it's like, no. Yes, they can do some, kind of weird, alarming things, but all said and done, that's not how they use it. Okay? That's just not, And I don't like surveillance stuff like that. I really don't. I'm not a huge fan of it, but there are instances where, hey, this is kind of cool. This is kind of handy. Hey, I'm looking for this. Here's an ad for it. Well, this is actually something that I'm interested in. Let's click on it. A lot of people don't really take the time because they're like, oh, you've intruded on my, whatever it is that I'm doing. And it's like, no, it's advertising, man. They know what they're doing. They know what they're doing, So we'll move on. We'll get off of that, okay? Google, yeah, we know what they're doing. Whatever. All right, guys. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break. And when we return, we're going to start diving into it. We're just going to start diving into this whole trigger thing that we've been talking about. We're actually going to get into the some of this LGBTQ, RST, rainbow community stuff, and get into some of the stuff that's going on and in an aspect more specifically, the transgender, and an aspect of this is, a difference between how it was in my day and how it is today. That was kind of cool. I just rolled out like that. It was kind of spiffy. I'm proud of myself. All right, guys, just a couple minutes and I will be right back. This is The Ho Ho Show. All right, welcome back, everybody, to the Ho Ho Show. All right, let's see here. So, something we were going to get into. Hit the wrong button. Something we were going to get into. But, first, I kind of got somebody that I want to, introduce, okay? So, we have in studio a very special guest, who I'm sure you guys already heard, all the way from Washington, D.C., the President of the United States of America. All right, so for those of you that are listening, okay, Brandon Gatton, host of the Machine Radio Show, he got this little stuffed Donald Trump doll. All right. And this sucker, he does like, he's even got like voice stuff that's in there that he says different things and whatever. And I thought that was freaking hilarious. He left it here sitting in the chair. So I figured, why not let him make an appearance? Yes, little things do entertain me. And no, Donald Trump is not actually here. I know, you're so disappointed. Whatever. All right, guys. Yes, I'm easily entertained. All right, so here we go, guys. We're getting into the trigger warning of stuff. All right, just so you know, trigger warning. Let me get rid of some of this stuff that I didn't do. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Oh yeah. Also, by the way, I mean there's quite a few different articles that I'm using in today's show. And of which case, if you want to take a look at these articles for yourself, you can always go to thehohoshow.com, click on the newsfeed tab, and that is, a Flipboard, a link to my Flipboard thing of every article that I use in the show. You guys can go ahead and check that out. Of course, you do got to get a Flipboard account in order to really use it. Big whoop there. I highly do recommend Flipboard. They are not a sponsor, but they are my go-to hub for anything, everything, and all things news. I recommend them. Check them out. Flipboard.com. Download the app today. Available in the Google Play Store and probably iOS too. Heck, I don't know. Again, they're not a sponsor. This is a free advertisement for Flipboard.com. Okay, I'm good. I'm fine. LGBT stuff. Let me just go ahead and flip into and I'm sure there's some more stuff in here. No, did you pro-life? Yeah, just that, and okay. So I guess that does actually kind of okay. So first and foremost, let's just kind of. Oh wait, no, there is other stuff in there. I don't care about that though. I think this stuff is different. Yeah, this stuff's different. That's different. That's different. That's different. I think it's probably down on the bottom. Let me kind of scroll to the bottom a little bit. There's a lot of stuff in here, guys. There really is. Bear with me just a couple seconds. It won't take me long. That person. Okay. Al Gore. I forgot about him. Yeah. Sanders. Oh yeah, that's Charter. That's something else. Do. Oh, there's that article. Yeah. I thought that was interesting. You guys will see that here in a minute. That guy. Okay, that's it. I guess I just had 2 articles I was going to bring up on this. I really thought I had like 3 or 4. Oh well, it doesn't matter. We got this. Because there's still some good discussion to be had in this. All right, so here we go. This first article now, there's a couple of them that it's like, yeah. Okay, you know what? Let's just start here. Okay. Nowadays, you've got, the LGBTQ, the lesbians, the gays, the bisexuals, the transgenders, queer, the whatever, these other different alphabets that they throw in there, okay? I'm going to be honest. I don't get it. Not that I don't get the thing. I get the thing. I don't get the alphabets. See, back in my day, it was simple. You had 3 different sexualities. Either you were straight, you were bent, or you were both. That's it. You had, 2 different types of styles that you can dress in. You had, those that dress like the sex that they are and those that dress like the sex that they ain't. And then you had even more specifically, what we used to call the drag queens that are guys that dressed up like women. Not like the whole, it's ma'am. Back then, these were people that, for the most part, they kind of had more pride in what they were doing. They just didn't wake out of bed and say, I'm going to have a Hulk Hogan hairdo with a Macho Man Randy Savage shirt on, and I'm going to wear, lovely Miss Elizabeth's high heels and go out shopping today. No. They actually tried back then and said it just looked like a train wreck. It's like, holy crap, people, really? Can't you make up your mind on what you, come on, So that's just, okay, back then it was simpler. Now, let me ask you an honest question, okay? This here is some open debate on this because I actually am kind of curious on this. besides those things right there, what else is there? I have no idea what that was all about. Vector just decided that he wanted to tell me the definition of something. I don't know what the heck he was doing, but that's just what he was doing. But it's like, okay, what else is there besides that? I mean, really, what else is there? And let's go back into a fundamental, this is kind of ridiculous, because this is where we're at. A state of ridiculousness that it's like you're kind of making some of these things irrelevant now, because it's like if you are, let's just bring up the L in LGBTQ. Okay, if you are an L, of the female persuasion that is bent, and that this is a term that's just, not straight, it's bent. That's just the thing. We're keeping it as simple as possible. Trigger word, I'm sure, but we're just keeping it simple. Just in case we got some, I'm at the races. Otherwise, I try to listen. Oh, well, welcome, Dave, sir. Oh, yeah, at the races. That's awesome. Good to see you over there in Facebook land. Welcome. And it's all right, man. You can catch it, on the rerun, on the rerun. So yeah, if you are, of the female persuasion that likes others of female persuasion, that likes the female persuasion, it's like, okay, so if you classify yourself as that, and then somebody whom is of a the male persuasion that classifies himself as a transgender, that considers themselves a lesbian, is the female that's of the L, is she still a lesbian? These are the stupid things that just run across my head. This is where I'm saying, this is, by definition, these things are kind of skewed. It's like, okay, why do you got to make it so difficult? Now again, guys, listen, I don't care one way or the other. Okay. I've got friends, I've got family, I've got friends that I consider family. I've got people in my life that I know have for years that are, part of the rainbow community, love them to death, family. People whom, it's like, dude, I consider them family, It doesn't matter to me. I don't care. I really don't. I don't care. To each his own, whatever, with the whole, marriage thing. It's like, dude, okay, if you want to, go for it. But, I mean, come on, man, think this through. Divorce, you lose half your stuff. Do you really want to go through that? I mean, come on, really. And to be honest with you guys, I'm against the I'm against marriage on the aspect of, okay, I have to pay the government a license to get married, but there's also a fundamental issue in this as well, though. It's like, okay, if we are supposed to have equal protection under the law, equal representation under the law, and if let's say, this guy who's married gets a tax cut because he's married, and me, I don't because I'm not, is that equal representation under the law, and is that equal representation and equal whatever? Is that equal under the law? No, it's not. It's not at all. It's not equal representation, and it's not equal whatever that other word that I said earlier. It's already gone. It's not. So I have a problem with that. It's a fundamental problem with that. I don't think that that's something that the federal government, state level, sure, whatever. Okay, 10th Amendment. We'll honor the 10th Amendment here. But on the federal level, I say it's none of their business. But at any rate, here's an aspect of where this whole debate kind of, will you stop? Go over there. Go that way. Just don't argue with me. But anyway, here's where this whole debate kind of, and I love it. I'm of a conservative type of an individual. They like to say that, oh, since I'm a science denier because I don't agree with their standing on, climate change and all this other kind of stuff. But it's like, dude, look, either you have an XY chromosome or you have XX chromosomes. That's it. That's it. There's only two. And those are the only way they go together. So that's all you can be. Okay. This article, which came from The Stream, which I'd be honest with you guys, I'd never heard of this before. Transgender identity may have cost a baby its life. What happened was somebody whom identified it as a male went into the ER because they were having stomach pains. Okay. Now, they thought this was just an overweight guy, possibly diabetic. Come to find out, it was a pregnant woman, biological woman who was pregnant. You know, guys can't have babies. Guys can't give birth. There's other differences between male and female. If this person going into a hospital would have said, I am a female, I'm having stomach pains, maybe they could have. Now again, this is complete conjecture, and they acknowledge that on this, in this article, okay? But it's like, if we would have known, if she would have properly identified herself as her, the sex of what she is, not who she claimed to be or how she identified, because there's a difference, and I actually do love it how they worded it in here, okay? I thought this was actually pretty cool. Let me read that. When it comes to checking into a hospital, how you identify does not matter. What matters is your biology. What matters is your X and Y chromosomes, or XX chromosomes. That's what matters, okay? Because that determines how they're going to treat you. And I don't mean like whether they're going to treat you bad or be mad at you or mistreat you, but it's like how they, the treatment that you get, as in the medication, different things of that nature, that's going to determine how they do that, because they treat medically men different from women. And if they would have known going into this situation that, hey, this is a female who may be pregnant, let's check this stuff out, they would have had the ability to actually treat and possibly save the baby from dying. They didn't. Why? Because her transgender identity was more important to her, him, than her actual biology. So that's my problem with that, Now, I guess the question arises, is this something that the hospital is going to be considered liable for? Do they have a chance of a lawsuit coming at them because, they mistreated somebody? They treated somebody's identity separate from their biology. Will you stop pushing stuff off my desk? Vector, I hope you fall off. Dude, yeah. He just got done pushing a cup off my desk. See, he acts like a cat. He really does. He just, he actually did jump off early. Got himself caught on the edge, couldn't get off, and then he tried to turn and he ended up falling off. I thought it was hilarious. I laughed at him. I'm like, good, serves you right, boy. Anyway, LGBTQ thing, okay, it's like, again, I don't care. However you want to identify yourself, go ahead and identify yourself with that. But you know what? At the end of the day, there are things that are different. And this is where I'm going to. This is another article that came up, okay? Now, there's some aspects of this that I do want to talk about, aspects of this that I really could care less. But this article, which comes from something that I don't even know, the Daily Caller, Twitter suspends another prominent user for stating basic truths about transgenderism. So here is where this whole thing, the rubber meets the road, if you ask me. Okay? And this is the aspect of transgenders getting into sports. I think you guys know where I'm going with this. You see, right now, let's go back a few years. Let's go back 10 years, okay? There's a, national, there's the NBA, and then there's the women's NBA, okay? There are separate. They compete separate of one another. Okay? They do this. Why do they do this, do you think? I don't know. Is it because that guys are, is it because the men in these sports are physically superior to the women of the same sport? Is that because of that? You can argue that if you want me to, but as soon as they started allowing transgenders to compete, people who were biological male but identified as a woman and then wanted to compete, in sports arena as a woman, even though they are biological male, in every single field, in every, the heavy lifting, running, swimming, all this other kind of stuff in these sports where transgenders has been welcomed with open arms because we can't discriminate, heaven forbid, can't discriminate. These transgenders have dominated the field. Is that fair to the women of that sport? They got into a sport, they got into the women's division. Why? Because they are women. And here you have transgenders who, one particular person, I'm going to talk about this one. I'm going to throw him under the bus. One particular person, all right? I wanted to say he was a wrestler. Okay, and yes, I said wrestler. He was a wrestler. Whenever he was in the men's division, he placed like 6th. Okay, something pretty far down there. Lo and behold, I'm a transgender now. So he switched sides. Now he's ranked 1st. So in every one of these instances where, they have done this, the transgenders are dominating. I feel sorry for the women, the biological women in this, because they're the ones who are getting, let's just face it, screwed, because now they just had their sport, which are not co-ed, they just got infiltrated by guys, and now they are no longer relevant within their field, within their sport. Okay? These are the ones whom I actually kind of feel sorry for. I mean, really, is that fair to everybody in that sport? Is that fair to the biological females who are in that sport? Is that fair to go into a non-co-ed sport that, because of reasons outside their control, has now been thrown into being a co-ed sport, and now they don't get the recognition for being good at what they do? I think it's ridiculous. Honestly, I very much do. I think it's ridiculous. You've basically, because of this, you just made female athletes irrelevant now. And I don't think that. In my hometown, my home school, very amazing, basketball players, on the team. It's like, okay, how well would they compete against a Larry Bird? How well would they compete against a Michael Jordan? I don't know. It's here. Oh, well, hi. How you doing? I got people showing up and knocking on the door and just, being, hi, what you doing? Oh, yeah, the camera's on, by the way. I know. Get over here. I don't care. She's like, I'm on the phone.
It's okay. Where I get my...
Okay, now she's walking out of the room. Okay,
so... I'll get off the phone soon.
Oh, okay, all right, cool. So, yeah. That's really all I got on that one. So, let's go ahead and... Should we go into the next hot button issue? Should we go in there already? Because the next one I got is the abortion debate. You know what? I think you guys need a little break. So we're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to take just a little intermission, if you will. Just a little one. Let's do a minute and a half. We'll be right back, ladies and gents. All right, welcome back, ladies and gents. And I didn't, I didn't, make that as long as it needed to be because I've got like so many different articles in here on this one little bitty thing. And no, I'm not looking at the camera right now because I'm too busy, clicking on links and open up stuff to kind of make this flow just a little bit better. And right now I've got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stinking tabs open just for, did I do that one? Nope. 9 different tabs open just on, 10 different tabs open just on this whole abortion thing. 11 now. Holy crap, there's still articles coming. Here's another one. I'll tell you what, guys, I wasn't just single-minded on this whenever I was, getting together these articles. I was getting even articles that are on the other side of the aisle as far as, points of view. What's this one? Oh, yeah, that's not even a correct article. I don't need that one. There's like 12 different things up here right now. Holy crap. Here's another one. Okay, so, yes, there is a butt-ton of stuff in here. Different articles. Now, okay, no, we're not going to be going into every single one of them, but we are going to read through some of these headlines. Okay? So, abortion issue. Again, trigger warning, ladies and gents. Zach, what is up, yo? How you doing? Welcome over there in YouTube land. So, I'm doing good, sir. How are you doing over there? Yeah? How you doing? Okay, so, again, guys, trigger warnings. Okay, open debate, some other views that we're going to talk about, some other views we're going to get into. And you know what? If you guys know my background, you guys may actually be a little, surprised on where I stand on abortion, why, and what I consider acceptable, maybe, because I'm not just completely 100% against. And again, we'll also define, or at least how I see what abortion is, okay? Because that is something that is, it's something that I think needs to be defined. What you think of it as, what, at what point, or, what in details or entails, or, what constitutes, justifies, what, not justifies, but, what defines, how do you define it, okay? And that I think is important whenever you're talking this type of a discussion, okay? So, Let's start off there, okay? Abortion. I see abortion as, okay, now, again, children in the room. This is a section that's going to get a little graphic for just a couple of seconds, okay? Okay, so do this whole thing, put your fingers in your ear, okay? And I will remove my fingers when it is safe to listen again. So do this, okay? And fingers in ear. Are you doing it? Are you guys holding your fingers in your ear? Okay. All right, here we go. Now, how I define abortion. It is using tongs and tweezers and pliers to physically rip apart an unborn baby in the womb. That is how I define an abortion. Now you can listen. Okay, so again, I think it's kind of important to actually define it, how you define it. I think that's important. So we've done that. So there we go. Let's go ahead and move on. Now, again, as I said, there's like 12, 13 freaking articles in here, and we're going to touch base on a few of them because these bring out different things, and a lot of them are kind of the same as far as subject matter and whatnot, but let's talk about this. Here's one from the Red State, Unhinged Feminist, and this one I thought was absolutely hilarious. This is an aspect of, somebody whom, I've won the civil rights battle, and now I'm going to throw my weight around because now what I'm saying is so freaking important that you have to listen to me. Unhinged Feminist, pro-life men should be forced to mutilate their man parts for every pregnancy they create. Maybe I should have added in here that, oh yeah, by the way, there might be some more language in here that children might not want to see. Mr. Dave again. I'm at the races, Riverhead, Healthy, just dropping in to say hi. Hello, sir. Good to see you over there. That's awesome. That's awesome. So, again, triggers. What are you doing? Will you stop? He got stuck. on a cable or something. Anyway, yeah, maybe I wasn't done with that whole, there might be some, okay, there might be some innuendo language that might get brought up. Okay. So here again is an article. What are you talking about? No, I'm not. Oh, okay. It is wanting me to log in, but no. The article's still here. So this article from the New York Times, and I'm sure you guys have heard about Georgia jumping in on this whole, this 8-week abortion thing, the anti-abortion after 8 weeks, and it's been called the heartbeat bill. Well, it looks like Missouri jumped in on this as well. Missouri lawmakers passed bill criminalizing abortion at about 8 weeks of pregnancy. This bill, we're just going down the line. Close that out, and no thanks, and close that out, and stop it. And what are you doing? It pop up over here on this side of the screen. Holy crap. Washington Examiner, Seth Meyers on Alabama anti-abortion law. Can you imagine how GOP will react if state bans all guns? And we'll get into that, actually, because that's a trigger for me. Stop it. This from the Daily Wire. Let's see. Network ignores New York's abortion law while scrupulously dissecting Georgia, Alabama, whatever. Another one. This one looks like CNN again. Get off of there. I hate pop-ups. I really do. There you go. Alabama abortion law addresses an urgent human rights issue. This one from the Daily Wire. Ocasio-Cortez mocks conservative Christian botches scripture. This whole aspect of, the Christians being the front runners on this whole anti-abortion thing, which, actually just isn't true. Abortion advocates flood Daily Wire commentator with shockingly violent threats for being pro-life. And another pop-up. Gotta love them pop-ups. Alexander Ocasio, Republicans trying to turn the U.S. into far-right Christian theocracy. I can't read. Republican-led legislature passes 8-week abortion. That one's from Live. I don't know. The Slate. Far-right Christian theocracy. The same article, different, people writing it. Abortion bill. No thanks. Abortion bills push women's reproductive rights into political spotlight. So, yeah, you guys get the picture. There's a ton of different articles. And this one, again, I thought this one was interesting. What does it really mean to be 6 weeks pregnant? And followed by this last one, no room for honesty. That one was from the Daily Wire. Again, you guys can go to thehohoshow.com, click on the newsfeed tabs, and you guys can get, see every single one of them that I'm using in this one. So we're going to talk about a few of them, okay? First off, let's go ahead and start off with this one and let's talk about that one later. We'll just close that one out. Don't care about that one. Yeah, we'll talk about this one first off, okay? First off, anti-abortion law. Can you imagine how GOP would react if states banned all guns? Okay, now, again, I was triggered on this one. This is kind of hilarious. Okay, they're using something that is Second Amendment, constitutional, Bill of Rights, first 10 amendments. This is number 2. How would they feel how would we feel if they banned all guns? Well, let's see. Here's the thing now. You're talking about, your standpoint on I have the right to choose, which doesn't exist in the Constitution. In fact, quite the opposite exists, because the Constitution, as written, or as could be assumed to be written, we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men, generic for mankind, are created equal, endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, and among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. What was that first one again? Life. Hey, I didn't write the stinking thing. It's right there, okay? So you have, the life. All men are created equal, endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. The right to life, the right to live is right there in the Constitution, and yet you say or you claim that you have the right to choose. No, actually, the Constitution says that no, the baby has the right to life. Endowed by their Creator, right there in the Constitution. Okay. Well, I'm done with that one. We don't need to get into it. We don't really need to debate that one any further, okay? It's in there. Urgent human rights issue. I don't know. I didn't actually even get into that one. Okay. But, okay, again, now, here's one of them that, okay, Ocasio-Cortez mocks conservative Christian, botches the scripture, you know. Okay, now, here's the thing, and this is one of the things that I mentioned earlier, okay? Yes, I was raised in the church, okay? But I'm against, you know, I'm against organized religion in the aspect of it's like, okay, there's a lot of hypocrisy in there, which is what a lot of people have an issue with, you know, faith, organized religion in general, okay? You want an example? Great, I'll give you one. This is a quick one. It's not going to take much time, okay? And this is something that has come up in a previous show that I thought was absolutely amazing, you know, whenever talking about, you know, the LGBT community, something that we just got done discussing, and in which case I think this is the one that, you know, an article that really, you know, was supposed to go in that section, but we're talking about it here. So, yes, in Deuteronomy, it does say that, you know, a man is not supposed to lie with a man the same way that he lies with a woman. Okay? And then it's like, you know, they're going to stand out there on their street corners and on their podiums, and they're going to talk to the masses, and they're going to say, you're going to hell for doing that. You know, and then they go to church, and as a buddy of mine says, you know, do the cross, etch a sketch, and you're forgiven, you know, and then they're going to, you know, go home. And by the way, they went to church, you know, wearing, you know, cotton and polyester, you know, fabrics of, you know, different types of fabrics, which is against the Bible. You're not supposed to do that. And then they go home, and then they watch football, you know, and maybe even play football themselves. They wear their leather shoes, and they got their leather wallet, you know, and the Bible says you're not supposed to touch the skin of a dead animal, and of which case they're doing that all the time. So, you know, they want to pick and choose, you know, the different rules within this book that they're going to follow, and what they don't want to acknowledge is we're no longer living in the Old Testament. We're living in the New. Love God, love people. That's all there is to it. You know, thou shalt not kill, there is. Thou shalt not have butt sex, there is not. Get over yourself. So, there we go. There's your Bible lesson. We're done now. She botches the scripture. Who cares? I don't even care about that article either. Christian theology, yeah, whatever. Anti-gun law ban. Now, okay, so here's the thing, and this is something I was talking about, you know, a little while ago. Again, you know, not touching base on the religious aspect of it, but religion at this particular point in time, or the supporters of religion, are not the biggest, you know, it does not represent the biggest group of people that are anti-abortion. It's science. Because the more technologically advanced that we get in understanding and being able to picture, and even to the, you know, to the aspect of being able to witness human development inside the womb and actually seeing what's going on, and are able to see how a child will react to physical stimulus and to auditory stimulus and stimulus in general, we're kind of understanding what takes place and where human development and different things take place. So as we get more scientifically advanced, and as we're getting to the point where we're understanding more and more about what happens in there, it's like, dude, how can you, with the straight face, I mean, you know, how can you advocate for pulling apart an unborn child in the womb and then have the gall to stand there and say, it's just a thing? It's like, dude, we are more just. We are more, you know, compassionate with animals than what we are with unborn children in the womb. Really? I mean, honestly, I'm flabbergasted about that. And yeah, I just said flabbergasted. I'm flabbergasted about that. You know, it's like, really? I mean, now, as I said, we were going to go into a different aspect of this. Now, I was actually having a discussion with a buddy of mine earlier today, and we were talking about this very debate right here, okay? And he had told me, you know, part of, you know, his stance on that, you know, but I'm going to be honest with you guys, okay? I'm sure that pretty much all of this have been to the fifth grade. You know, the fifth grade, you have, you know, that whole sex education aspect of it. You know, the class where they separate you male and female, and you watch a video about human reproduction. You know, you find out how babies are made. We're not going to discuss it, but that's what you learn. So you know where they come from. You know, the stork flies in, drops the baby down the chimney, kind of like Santa Claus, and then there you go, right in the stroller. There you got your baby. That's where babies come from, just so you didn't know. So we know where children come from. Now, I'm not even going to be talking about the abstinence thing, but, you know, yes, that is an option. Is it going to happen? No, I do acknowledge that in the heat of the moment, you know, there's just, you know, sometimes you just don't remember that, you know, maybe I should put my raincoat on for this. You know, it's just, it happens. You know, we don't always think about this stuff when we're in the heat of the moment. I understand that. I get that. You know, but there are other options outside of the pulling apart of somebody in order to, you know, if you don't want to have an abortion or if you don't want to have the baby, you know. There's the morning after pills. There's all kinds of different forms of birth control out there, you know. And I will consider this a fallacy and a travesty of where we're at in society right now, because I can get a little bitty magic blue pill that works great as a kickstand to keep me from rolling out of bed in the morning. And, you know, but somebody, you know, and I can get that for like dirt cheap, but yet, you know, somebody whom, you know, wants to have, you know, a birth control pill, they got to spend a lot more money for that. And it's like, no, I don't agree with that. You know, I very much disagree with that. Okay, so we're on the same page on that. There is a fallacy in the healthcare industry, you know, and maybe this is because this has been an industry that has been primarily run by guys that really didn't care on the other aspect of that, and in which case, you know, yeah, you're probably right on that. So we should do something about that. We should fix that. We should make that something that doesn't cost so much, that is more affordable, but there's even still all kinds of different ways around doing this. I'm not against contraceptives, you know, morning after pills. I'm not against any of that stuff. I'm just against the physically ripping apart of a human body. Okay? And I like the aspect, again, we talked about the whole science aspect of this being in here, and of which case, yeah, I'll fist bump you. And of which case, you know, the more we learn, okay, let me rewind this, okay? If we are using the metric of a heartbeat no longer being present within inside the human body in order to use that as a metric to determine whether somebody is alive or dead, you know, your heart stops beating, you flatline, beep, they pronounce you dead. Doesn't it just scientifically make sense in order to use that same metric for the whole starting of life? To me, that makes sense. You know, to me, that makes sense. And hello, Game Over, sir. Good to see you over there in the mixer lane. Sorry I didn't see you before. I apologize about that, you know. But that is a metric to me that makes sense, you know. Using that heartbeat as a metrics, as a defining moment for the starting of life, since we already use it in the medical field for the end of life, the end of the heartbeat, you know. And again, you know, this is another aspect of the whole, you know, it's like we know how babies are made. When you do that and you don't want a baby, then maybe you should consider these different things and do that. Okay, let's move on. The next thing we're going to talk about, we're getting off this. We're moving on. What do you guys think? Let me know. Comments, whatever. Shush. All right. We're going to talk about, you know, we are completely shifting gears on this. We are completely going a completely different way. And I've said completely way too many times. So we're going to talk Batman now. We're going into a totally different direction. And holy crap, I am already sick of me saying completely and totally. And I'm getting rid of some pages now, getting rid of all these stinking things. Again, if you guys want to check out these articles, feel free, go to thehohoshow.com and then just click on the newsfeed tab. get into my Flipboard, and you guys can check all those out. Free to read, take a look at them. So we're talking about Batman. So as I'm sure you guys are aware, that one right there, that the gentleman who was doing Batman, for the in the DC universe, is no longer going to be doing. Oh yeah, I forgot about that article. Cool. Oh yeah, see, it's got a picture of Batman, so I was thinking, Batman. Okay. Where's that other one at? I know I had a couple other different ones. Okay, here we go. And welcome over there in Facebook land. I am against abortion to a certain extent, but I have also known a person who was 100% against it, and she was raped, but she still had her baby. She said it was her best decision, but everyone is different. I couldn't do it. I could not have a baby by someone who raped me. And that's a part of the conversation that really does. Let me get rid of this. That's the aspect of the conversation that, really gets a lot of people's emotional heartstrings tugged really bad, and that is an aspect that's like, okay, I can understand completely where somebody in that situation is coming from. Okay. Again, they have the morning after pills. They have options that they can do besides going in there and ripping up the baby, Now, they have different things that they can do as part of the rape kit, different things of that nature. And these are options that are given to them whenever they, go to the hospital. And I know the whole thing is, there's a lot of, undocumented rapes that happen. And yes, I'm aware of this, but it's also, okay, we live in an era of, women's rights and all this other kind of stuff. But it's like, dude, if you're going to go that route, okay, empower women, to step forward and do that in order to put these rapists away. Okay. Do that. That's what we should be doing is, encouraging women. It's like, no, it's like, yes, something dirty, something bad, something horrible happened to you. Fight back. But again, I do understand the whole, not wanting to raise that child and even not wanting to carry that baby to term and give birth to it. I can understand that. Let's go back to the raising that baby. I honestly do not feel as though somebody whom is a victim of rape, and this is a personal opinion of mine, I don't feel as though that person should raise that child. Psychologically, holy crap, I couldn't imagine. Again, I couldn't. This is guy speak. This is mansplaining. I understand that. I couldn't do that, But there's that option of not abortion. Holy crap. There's that option of adoption. The adoption option. The adoption option. We're Dr. Seuss today. The adoption option. That is an option that you can stinking gravity. Holy crap. So there is that option, I don't think as though it is necessarily something good to the psyche of, both the mother and the baby. Because, how can the mother really look at and love that child without being reminded of the horrible act that happened to her? Couldn't do that, So I agree that, okay, adoption option, do that. And again, another aspect of that is, and this is kind of where, this is kind of where I stand on this, is it's the aspect of, I just don't like the idea. I couldn't personally condemn another life for the crime of somebody else, that somebody else committed. Okay, I couldn't do that. That unborn child that is, innocent of the act, didn't do anything wrong, but yet you are, dishing out the justice, to that unborn child for, the crime that they didn't commit. And again, there are other options outside of ripping apart of an unborn baby that you can utilize before it gets to the point of, that far along. You can do that. And granted, how do you know until it's too late? And I get that aspect of it too. It takes about 2 weeks, if not a little bit longer, for a woman to know she's pregnant once she is. And of course, I understand that, but even still, it's like, Okay, well, you were raped. Let's get the bastard. Do something about it. A lot easier said than done. Never been in that situation, but I can sympathize. All right, moving on. Batman. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about Batman. Batman. Hey, you know what? This article, and we might as well just go ahead and talk about it because with the Game of Thrones series winding down, okay. This article coming from Sendroid, I guess, maybe, I don't know. Stephen King's The Eyes of the Dragon aims to be Hulu's answer to Game of Thrones. So, I mean, with the whole Game of Thrones things winding down, tomorrow being the last episode, The Eyes of the Dragon. I'm actually interested. I don't have Hulu at all. I don't have Hulu. I've got Netflix. I got HBO Go. I don't have Hulu, but I'm interested in this. I might actually at least get a trial, whenever this sucker goes on there and just kind of see what it's all about. Because I've read The Eyes of the Dragon. It was a good book. It really was. It was a good book. So I'm kind of curious. Because it's like a small book, too. I mean, it's not a very big book. It's a pretty small. It's one of Stephen King's smaller books. How are you going to turn that into a big old series? That's part of the thing that makes me kind of curious about this. So, Stephen King's Eyes of the Dragon aims to be Hulu's answer to Game of Thrones. And I don't know why I'm holding and fidgeting with a pen. I don't know. All right, moving on. So, as I was kind of starting to get into a little bit earlier, the guy that has been, Superman for, the Man of Steel, for the Avengers, for Batman versus Superman. I don't remember what the guy's name is, but he is a very good Batman. I like him. I think he is one of the best, outside of Christopher Reeves, the absolute best Batman, Superman. I'm sorry. What are we talking about? Batman. We're not talking about Batman. Yeah, we are talking about Batman. Are we talking about Batman? Yes, we're talking about Batman. Holy crap, guys. I hate it whenever my mind does that to me. All right, so that was just a hello, Day One Gamer. Good to see you over there in Mixer Land. So, all right. We've had a butt ton of Batmans over the years. All right, starting off with, and I'm not talking about TV series Batmans. I'm not talking about cartoon Batmans. I'm talking about live action movie Batmans. Okay. We've had Michael Keaton, which personally I thought he was a very, very good Batman. He did because Batman's kind of schizophrenic, I'm waiting for you all the time. Well, I'm glad, sir. That's awesome. Thank you. So, Batman kind of schizophrenic, he's two different people. He's Batman and Bruce Wayne. And in which case I thought Michael Keaton in the original role did a very good job as doing both Bruce Wayne and the Dark Knight Batman. I thought he did a very good job at it. And then you had, which one was it? Which one was first? I don't remember because you had Val Kilmer, who to me I thought he did a very good Batman, but he did a crappy Bruce Wayne. And then you had George Clooney, nipples on the Batman suit. Really? I mean, come on, it was ridiculous from the word go. But he did a very good Bruce Wayne, but not so good of a Batman. And then you have, the Christian Bale, which I thought he did a very good Batman, and Bruce Wayne did a very good job. 3 movies, very excellent. And then you have, what's his name? Ben Affleck. Yeah, Ben Affleck is Batman. I don't remember what the whole beef is as far as why he was getting away from the character. I don't know if this was something that DC decided or if it was something that, Ben Affleck decided. If you guys know, let me know. Chris over there in Facebook land, good to see you, sir. Glad you're over there. But I don't remember why he got out of the part. I really don't. I don't remember. But, okay, I'll be honest with you guys. I know Ben Affleck gets a lot of grief, for different things that he's been in. But honestly, I like the guy. I really do. I think he's a good actor. He's done quite a bit of different stuff, Not all of them good, but not all of them bad either. And I mean, if you're looking at whatever, I like him. Okay. I'm not that overly picky with some movies. Some of them I really am. Some of them I'm really not. But I like Ben Affleck. You know, I didn't think he did a bad job with the role. In fact, you know, with Batman vs. Superman, the problem I had with the show wasn't Ben Affleck's performance. It was, you know, the whole, they went outside the storyline of the norm of the problem that Batman has with Superman, and they fabricated one that had no, that wasn't comic book related, didn't have anything to do with anything. Okay, you'll be right back. So that was my problem with it. It wasn't Ben Affleck in the role. It was they made up a reason and just decided that they'd go off script as far as a comic book script goes. And Adam West is the best Batman. And Chris, you know what? Oh yeah. You know, he was an amazing Batman, did it for numerous years. You know, very, very good job with it. Hi, my problem, I had professional help. Huh? My problem, I need professional help. I can read, really, I can. But, you know, Chris, Adam West was a very, very good Batman. But I was just kind of narrowing it down to movie Batmans, not necessarily, you know, the TV series Batman. Because, I mean, like, you know, that's kind of like with the Joker thing, okay? Luke Skywalker, Mark Hamill, amazing Joker, you know, in the animated series, you know. And thank you for the follow, Day One Gamer. I do appreciate that over in Mixer. But yeah, so I mean, if you're throwing the animated series in there along with all of them, like especially with Joker, you know, Mark Hamill, amazing job, you know. But so my problem with that movie was the whole, you know, them just completely going off script and fabricating it. But there's going to be a new Batman now. Yes, another Batman has been announced, and I was actually kind of surprised on who was going to do it. It is Robert Pattinson. Who the heck is Robert Pattinson? I'm glad that you asked. Have you guys seen the whole Twilight saga? You know, Edward, you know, the sparkling vampire that wanted to stand out into the sun and didn't do it because he got tackled by somebody that just decided to tackle him because you can't sparkle in public. And so that's what they did, you know. But yes, Robert, and I had to click on the link and go, you know, oh, that's Robert. I didn't know the guy's name. You know, it's like, yeah, I've seen him in quite a few different things. I mean, Twilight's not the only thing he's done. But I was like, look at his face. And,
Matt's not happy about it.
He's not happy about it?
He hates it.
Really? Why?
He hates Edward. He doesn't think he'll be able to cut it out.
You know, but when it comes to acting, though, it's like, okay, whenever it comes to stuff like that, I'm like, okay, do you got the looks? Do you got the looks for it? You know, if you're going to base, you know, Leonardo DiCaprio's entire career off of What's Bothering Gilbert Grape, that's not exactly a good standing point by which to base an opinion off of whether somebody can or can't do a particular role. You know, and of which case, that's why I'm like, yeah, I'm willing to give him a shot. He's got the looks. You know, whether he can or can't pull it off, I don't know. What do you guys think on that? You know, the actor of Twilight that played Edward as the new Batman. I'm just frustrated that they're throwing another Batman in there. Haven't we had enough stinking Batman? We should throw Cujo in there because within the movie, you know, he got bit by a bat. Why can't he be Batman? Oh, yeah. That just went in my head.
And out your mouth.
Down my throat. Wait. What?
Yeah.
Never mind. All right, guys. We are going to touch base. Where are we sitting at on time? Just over an hour. All right. We're going to take another quick break. I was looking over here for the camera, even though the camera's like right freaking there. It happens sometimes, you know.
I do that all the time.
Yeah.
On camera, I stare at this. And
Yeah. It's like, why am I looking over here?
I'm handing everything.
You know, I was even looking at that camera up there, you know, and that's the other wrong freaking camera. And I was looking at that one, and I'm like, it's not looking at me.
I like how I'm known as crazy girl, but you're knuckin' butts.
Mm-hmm. Oh, hey, guys, check it out. I got a guest with me in studio. No, not her. I'm talking about him. And you just vibrated and shook my entire studio. Stop it. I'm talking about him. See, he's even got a microphone on him.
He's creepy.
You know, the whole thing. Dude, it's come on, man. But I even got a step further.
Because those people, many of them, not all, some are great, but many of them are very dishonest people, meaning the press.
Jesus Christ.
See, he talks too.
He actually talks.
And you
Yeah, I
can
know.
tell them to go themselves.
But I'm not walking all the way over there trying to reach out just to hold his hand and go and make him talk whenever I can just use buttons on my thingy-jigger and right here. Hold on, let me get that off there. There we go.
You failed. It's still on his face. It's still on him. There you go.
The buttons went all kinds of like, what?
They're like,
What's going on? Yeah, something went kind of weird. I'm just kind of my buttons were thinking on there. Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh, yeah, I was reading a thing. In movies, it would be Ben's Batman. Ben's Batman. Yeah, I just didn't like their...
look at it.
I see that. Why are you putting it there? So I just wasn't really happy with the whole thing that they did. You know, the storyline aspect of Ben's Batman. That was the aspect of it that I didn't like. You know, it wasn't so much his performance, you know, what he was doing. Because I thought, you know, like as far as that went, I thought he did a pretty good job with the role. I just didn't like that they changed his backstory in order to give Batman something to be mad at Superman about. And that was the aspect of it that I didn't like. You know, that was just part of it that just kind of irritated me. You know what I'm saying? So, guys, we're going to take a quick break. And when I get back, we're talking about an aspect of, we're talking about the immigration thing, okay? And not just the immigration of things, but the movement, the distribution of people in order to flip-flop places so that this way they can maybe win a 2020 election. That's what we want to talk about next. So just a couple minutes, and we will be right back. Where are we going with this one? Ooh, let's do that song. Yeah. A couple minutes, guys. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Ho Ho Show. How's it going, everybody? And yes, I went to Ace Hardware today. I had to get me something for my washing machine. You know, so that this way it doesn't drain into a kitty litter bucket. I got the actual thingy to take it. Oh, well, I'll even unmute you.
So you fixed it.
Well, I haven't. It's sitting in the car yet. I haven't actually put it on there and
it's
attached it yet.
there, though.
But it's there, yeah. So, and over there at Ace Hardware, they've got these amazing drinkages. And this is sarsaparilla. For those of you that don't know, sarsaparilla is like the root of root beer, which is actually kind of weird too, because they do sell, Kansas City authentic root beer, and then they got Kansas City authentic sarsaparilla. It's more or less the same freaking thing.
Yeah.
I don't get that. But anyway, it's good stuff. They're not a sponsor either.
Ew.
Root beer burps with me are worser than Dr. Pepper burps. Worser, yeah. Much more worser. All right, so don't drop that. Yeah.
Drop what?
Drop my sarsaparilla. Yeah, that'd be bad. I don't want to drop the sarsaparilla. Because I don't have the cap on it right now either, because it's capless. Now I'm screwing the cap on there.
Yeah, you do that. Continue screwing it on there. It's not completely on.
It's on.
If it goes on the floor, it's going to end up in the floor. It's going to spray. Trust me, my hobbit learned the hard way.
I'm not a hobbit.
True.
I've already dropped things and learned from my mistakes of my youth. I'm an old man now.
You're not that old.
I'm old enough. So, immigration, that's what we're talking about. I wonder if I have a...
It would
From
be
now on, it's going to be America first, okay? We need to build a wall. Bing, bing, bong.
bing, bing, bong.
Okay, anyway. It would be expensive. Yeah. So I put the cap on there, so we're all good. All right, so let's get off Batman. We're not talking about Batman. Dude, I confuse myself. We talk about Batman or Superman. What are we even talking about? I don't even remember.
We're talking about immigration.
Well, yeah, but I'm talking about, the last time. It was like, I'm talking about Batman, but it's like, the things on Superman, and it's like, I confused myself completely. So we're talking about immigration. So let me get into this whole immigration thing. And there's like a couple different things in there. Yeah, there's one. Let's see. Oh, yeah, there's the other one on there. What is that? Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's the next one.
That was like a fourth row clear.
CBA. Let's see. Here's a Navy. Nope, that's not it. Nope, that's not it. That's not it. Oh, yeah, I forgot about the whole Twitter thing in there. I threw that in there, though. Oh, yeah, that's a fun law. That'll be good. All right. I'm almost... Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Oh, yep, there it is right there. Okay. And, yep, D'Souza, that's where I was wanting to go. So here we go, guys. I went through all that in order to give you this. Like the hand. And so there we go. This headline from Media Matters, headline on Fox News, Dinesh D'Souza claims that Democrats want to sort of transform the demographics of America through immigration. But we're not done with the headlines yet. This one from Newsmax, GOP governor plan to send migrants to Florida, not acceptable. And this one from NBC News, from the Peacock. Where's it at?
The Peacock.
The Peacock, that's what it is. Okay, well, of course, the Peacock is just going to be sitting there looking all pretty. Where's the article at? I don't even know. All right, so the headline, though, said, let me just click on the headline. You guys can see Peacock. Where's the Peacock at? Where's the Peacock at? There it is. Homeland Security lays groundwork to possibly, and that's small print, to possibly transport migrants by plane to various U.S. cities. See, here's what it amounts to, guys. They're like, we lost in 2016 because we didn't have quite the turnout that we thought we were going to have, and we lost. They're like, we don't want to do this anymore. So we got all these immigrants, these illegal immigrants coming in here, and what we're going to do is we're just going to send those to red states, flip-flop them, turn them blue. Yeah,
I see what you're doing. I don't like it.
exactly.
I love how I just joined at this point and was like, I'm just here.
But you know what, guys, though? It's actually worser than that.
Really?
Oh, yeah. You see, here's what it amounts to. Now, this is an exercise that I did, I think, last year for 4th of July, okay? I did this whole side-by-side comparison between the Bill of Rights in the Constitution of the United States of America and the 10 pillars of communism found in Karl Marx's whatever thing that he did, with that stuff. 10 pillars of communism. One of those pillars is distributing people in order to get the vote to be the way you want it. Not allowing people to decide for themselves where they want to live, but actually, by demographics, distributing people in order to get the type of turnout you want to. This is directly out of Karl Marx's handbook in the 10 Pillars of Communism. Like I said, it's worser,
Yeah.
Holy mackerel, Robert Pattinson to lead in Batman movie. It was right there next to it. Whatever. Anyway, we'll move on. School voucher. We'll throw this one in here. Because this is something that's been popping up again in the news. You get rid of some of this stuff. My eyeball itches, so I'm scratching the edge of it. I want to actually scratch my eyeball, poke my eye out like that. I don't want to do that.
No, it's
That
not
seems
healthy.
horrible. No, it's not. Then my eye would be on the ground. I'd have to go find it and whatnot. That'd just be horrible.
And then you have to go to the hospital and be like, can you fix
No,
it?
I'll just plop it back in. We'll be good.
I don't think it'll work again if it's on the floor.
It might.
If it's hanging down at your chest, maybe. But
There'll be a dangly connecting it.
you got to reconnect it, though. How you going to do that?
I'll do duct tape.
That doesn't work.
Could.
It's got to be medically sutured.
I got a medical degree. I played a doctor on TV.
But could you fix your own eyeball?
Maybe. Dude, there was a guy that gave himself liposuction. I thought that was interesting.
Ew.
Anyway. Oh, yeah, that's the button I'm looking for. Satisfaction high in D.C. school voucher program study finds. I really hate headline speak. It's all backwards and whatnot. You never know what the heck they're trying to say. In other words, people are kind of starting to like this whole school voucher program, which is awesome. And actually, people in more rural areas and different things like that, they kind of use fire to reconnect it. What?
Burn them together. You got to burn it.
Thank you for the follow, Mr. Reality, over there in Mixerland. I do appreciate that. And I like this. I like this one. He should stay a vamp.
You should stay.
He should stay a vamp.
Yeah.
Use fire to reconnect it. Yeah, I could do that, Chris. That might work. Use fire. That'll reconnect it.
Well, actually, you
that'll
need to
cauterize and whatnot. It could work.
You need to use the medical burning tools too.
It's called the cigarette lighter. I got one in my car outside.
No, you have to have hot metal.
Well, that's metal, and it's hot. It's red hot.
You have to have specifics, little tools that'll.
I can put here we go. I got a paper clip. I got a little bitty tool. It's a paper clip. It'll work. I got this. I got this, woman. So
anyways,
here's the thing about vouchers, okay? Here's the thing about vouchers. Vector, he kind of distracted me. All right, so I will help you playing with. Oh, you like playing with fire? I like playing with fire.
I love fire.
Fire is amazing. So, with the whole voucher program, this is kind of funny because here in America, we got this thing, free capitalism, and in which case an aspect of free capitalism is when you have choices in what you buy, where you buy. That forces competition between these other, between places in order to, and the side effect of this is, now, of course, this is, you're also looking at the whole supply and demand. I'm giving you guys a little bit of an economics lesson, but, the supply and demand, we're not really talking about that, but with the whole a product, multiple places to buy it from, multiple brands that has it, it breeds competition, okay? So here you have America, capitalism, competition, which is really, really good for the buyer. Really good for the buyer. But what do we have in our education system? I'll tell you what we got with the education system. We have to pay taxes, which sends all our money to the school, the public school. You have no choice. They teach you what they want you to learn. Curriculum that was decided upon by the Department of Education, not something that was done locally by the states. Oh, I know what you guys are going to say. The whole, that it's a state, education, a state run. Yeah. But you still have on the federal level the Department of Education, and the Department of Education says, we have this grant money that we'll give you. Ooh, I want that. No. See, in order for you to get this here grant money, you have to, we are going to, at the end of the school year, we're going to give your kids a test. What? Oh, yeah. You see, so you can teach them whatever you want to teach them, but at the end of the year, this is what they have to know, forcing the school to teach the test. That's what happens. So who's in charge of that? Is the the Department of Education on the federal level? Are they the ones who control it? They control the money. So, or is it the states that control it? The federal government controls the money. So you guys take your pick on which one you're going to say actually controls the show. The federal government. I'll help you out on that just a wee little bit by
just
saying
the whispers in your ear.
The federal government does it. So. Oh, Chris, yes, the hell with the Common Core math. Okay, dude, all right.
I hate math, and then they made it so annoying.
There was a friend of mine's children.
I think I was there.
No, you wasn't.
No?
No, you weren't there. A friend of mine's kid, okay, a math problem. Now, you see, we learned math simply. Back in the day, okay? And we're going to deal in fractions here for a second, and I'm not going to get too complicated. It's going to get complicated, but I'm not going to get complicated. It's pretty easy, okay? I need bigger stuff. It's all right. I don't need, here we go. I got bigger stuff.
Oh, I thought I was just offering this, so I was like, hey,
no, I need bigger stuff. So, how in the world did you do that? I don't need you. Okay, so 1/2. Okay, this is fractions, half. Okay. 2/4 is 1/2. You're not changing your proportions. You're just kind of putting pieces back together again. But you're not changing the proportions because half is still half. 2/4 is half. 4/8 is half. Lowest common denominator. That's what we're talking about. So the child was told to do these, to take these things and turn them into lowest common denominator. And see, here's the thing with a half. Okay, it's half. It's the same number, but you're not actually changing the proportions. The number that you have is still the same. It's still there. It's still legitimate. It's still the same. Okay. Math lesson now. We did economics earlier. We're doing math now. We did religion before that, but we're back into math. So the problem was take 5 5/8 down to the lowest common denominator. And I go, Okay, so with 5 5/8, you have 5 whole pies. Whoa, what was that?
You space barred it and
I
scrolled.
space barred it. Okay, so you have 5 whole pies, And let's just pretend that these little bitty things in my hand that you really can't see, gravity, is pies. You know what? The heck with my pies. Now, when the problem in the math problem said lowest common denominator 5 and 5/8, well, I did this the whole longhand. You take, 5 times 8, that gives you, 45, plus another 5, and that gives you 50. Is that right? 5 and 5/8. So 5 times 8, 40. And then another 5 is 45. So take 45 over 8 to the lowest common denominator. And I'm like, okay, so 5 and 5/8 is already in the lowest common denominator. Therefore, the LDC, lowest common denominator, no, LCD, yeah, LCD of lowest common denominator is 5 and 5/8. And then she got that wrong. Okay, because the book said apparently that the lowest common denominator, 5 and 5/8, is 5/8. And I told her, I go, look, go back to your teacher and say, where's my 5 MF and pies? Because if proportionately 1/2 is the same as 2/4 is the same as 4/8 is the same as keep going up and up and up, therefore 5 and 5/8 is the exact same number as 5/8, and of which case, no, it's not. Where's my 5 pies? That's what I want to know. But not your math teacher. Right. See, the math teacher knows that 5 and 5/8 is not the same as 5/8. You try to sell them something, we're not talking about that. Anyway, that was my thing with Common Core. I was like, dude, no, you're stupid. Tell your teacher, quit using the book, use pies, common sense. You'll find out the answer. The book is wrong. Anyway, what are we talking about? School voucher program. So you have this whole thing, capitalism, and see, with capitalism, it's like, okay, when there's competition, then the schools would actually have to compete for your child to go to that school. You would get a better product. You would get better education. And you wouldn't get adults to say education.
Education.
I'm an educated individual. Never mind. Anyway, school vouchers. It's a good thing. It breeds competition. The schools, both public and private, would have to fight because this is what you have. This is like extortion, because they are forcing you to pay for something that you may or may not want, and they are stifling, competition because you're already paying for the public school system, and you may not have the money to get the private thing because you've already paid into the public thing that you really don't want, and they don't care because they got your money. It doesn't matter. They've won. So with the school voucher program, that levels the playing field between public school, private school, any other choice that you may have. And now the public school no longer having a lead, a head start on this, having to now fight for the money of where your child's going to go to. This is going to breed competition, which is going to mean better education for your children. Better education. That's really all I got for today, guys. That's it.
Mm-hmm. I joined in at the last little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, last half hour of the show. Next week, no, not next week, Monday. We are going to be talking about on the movie review, which is going to be the same bat time, 7 p.m. Central. No. We backed that up. It's like 7:30 or 8 o'clock. I don't remember which. He's got, this is his last
meeting for Scouts.
Yeah, his last Boy Scouts meeting. So we're going to be going to like 7:30 or 8, depending on how it goes. And then after that, for the remainder of the summer, we'll back it back down to 7 p.m. But Monday, couple nights from now, we're going to be doing the next installment of our Star Wars saga, and we're going to be discussing episodes 4, 5, and 6. I ran out of fillers. So 4, 5, and 6, Monday, the movie review. Check it out. It's a good time, man. We talk about it, have fun. And then next week, we're going to be talking about episodes. Bye, ho, ho. Love you, Snack Cake. Love you too, Chris. You have a great one, man. Hope all is going good. Take it easy. See you next time, sir. But yeah, and then the week after that, we're going to be talking about episodes 7 and 8, and then some of the fan theory and different things that's out there for episode 9, even though it's going to be later in the year before it comes out. So Monday, check us out, episode 4, 5, and 6, the movie review. Me and Mr. Matt Vacker, we will be heading it up sometime between 7:30 and 8. Just kind of depends on when he gets out of Scouts, and that's why our schedule kind of varies on that one. So y'all just have yourself a wonderful day. Good night. Sleep tight. And I messed with the wrong volume, Nobby. I was trying to turn up the thing and just nothing. Yeah, it was great. It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Am I ready?
I hate it whenever I do that. All right, guys. Take it easy.